Oh, here we go. Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Krishna Priya. This is the Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It is Saturday, the 11th of February, 2023. And we have today as our very special guest, our dear, dear friend, Will Mitchell. He'll be channeling Kuthumi and Nada and some other ascended masters, and we'll just see who comes through. But welcome, Will. It's nice to have you back so soon.
Glad to be back.
He's
It's always a
coughing
pleasure
for
to be here.
emphasis. Awesome. It's awesome. Always awesome to have you. We have Angie in the room. Let's see who else we have. We have Angie, we have Bridget, Braden, Daniel, Joan, Jennifer, Radha, Susan, the Mavith, Wendy, and Will, and myself, Krishna Priya. And when we start with some announcements and then some blessings. Go ahead, Angie.
Sorry about that. I was getting in. Hi, everybody. Angie here. We completed our last class and we are looking at going ahead and scheduling our next class. If you are interested in any classes, right now we're looking at crystals and stones, chakras, and possibly level 3 consciousness class. If you're interested in any of those, or if you have classes that you are interested in, please email classes@hucolo.org. When Jim gets back from vacation, we will go ahead and schedule the next class. And when we have the most, the people that want the most interest, have the most interest, that's the class we'll do. Classes@hucolo.org, and we will get that information out to you.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Well, just so everyone knows, this is normally a week that Jim is here, but he is doing some well-earned vacationing, and he will be back in 2 weeks. So today we have Will, and I'll announce who's coming next week. But yeah, so we're so happy to have Will. Okay, Angie, you're going to do a blessing?
Yes.
And then Wendy, I have you doing a blessing after Susan if you're there. You can just type in the chat, but go ahead, Anne.
Ako hono o te chiki atoko ata te ki. Mahano uko te chika ano o toko chishi. Tiki ano no ko a. Pateki anana kata ora tu amasanaya. Hohona I chichika ana o toko ora. Imani akatatura.
As we continue to ascend, as we continue to master our alignment and master love, we invite in the wisdom and we invite in the love and share it with all.
Thank you. Go ahead, Susan.
He zo kia sikita yo toya. He zia kukwa ya sikito zia ye toya itiokua ititia totoya. He zia katoya hia sikua sia toya dia kua sikitia dia totoya titikua itikaya yetia ya sikia sukotoya isika. He sukoya sikitia. Blessings.
You're all unique, magnificent individuals. Your vibration is necessary for the common good. Keep your vibration going. Keep your spirits high. We are always here to support you. We are a part of you. Whenever you are feeling down, just call in that higher vibration. Call us in. Call in the unconditional love. And raise your vibration for you and for everyone.
Beautiful. I kept hearing, you've got a friend in me. Okay, go ahead, Wendy.
A tahun yara kahira pahiena aiki at tohiena nara kaira tuyanara atahiana na hui ji tu yara ka iana mahayana nara tahieta tohu tu ka pahiena naka itata huire ira te hukuru apaianara turu no tahanara kahienara ta atahiera nara ta atapakiana no o chia maika atohuiana maata nuru kuhunara kuru nuru Blessings.
We are here to help you clear out the dissonance in your vibration. You can do this easily yourself as well. This dissonance is simply an illusion. All of your thoughts that are not in alignment are simply an illusion created by your mind. Hopefully you will laugh with us as this illusion is easily dispersed. You are amazing. You are the light. Your heart is beaming. Continue to nourish your heart. Continue to broadcast the light from your heart. You are amazing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So we'll, let me just make sure you're spotlighted so I can.
Each of those blessings were unique. So when the translations started coming in, I'm going, are we going to continue the same thing? Each one, no. So thank you, each of you, for those blessings. They were amazing. And I loved the laughter, Wendy. That was beautiful.
Oh, I don't think she's responding, but yeah, it was beautiful. Okay. So tell us a little bit about, oh, sorry, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about who you're going to be channeling and who they are to you. And so you can introduce them a little bit.
So we're going to be talking about unconditional love and the ascended master that wants to come in. I mean, they were, switching back and forth, whether they're going to be Archangel Hamiel or Lady Master Nada, which you pointed out means sound in Sanskritam. So it's the vibration of unconditional love that she wants to talk about. And how to bring it in. You are already it, things like that. And Kuthumi wasn't in my awareness for Saturday until Jim requested it. And I'm going, okay, he's here. Okay, we can do Kuthumi. And Kuthumi he's wisdom. Okay. So he's all about third eye.
Right.
And receiving that wisdom and seeing it and allowing that truth to come through. And the rest of, so are there any other requests? I guess we should ask. Well,
I will just say it to the room and to the YouTube chat. Is there any other requests? You have them, but I'm sure that those two will bring forth a lot of information that we're all will be interested in. I would say let's get some good questions. Mavith would like source. That's a big request. Let's see. And Ange, do you have anybody?
Nothing in YouTube.
But they are pleased with Kuthumi in the YouTube chat. I do see that. So
yes, Kuthumi, yes. Katie said Kuthumi.
Yay. Okay. And Lord Maitreya? No, it's spelled with an EYA, but good enough.
It's still.
We got it. We got it.
He's here as well.
And Archangel Michael as well. Okay. Well, we'll see who comes through.
Michael is so entwined with Kuthumi anyway. So when Kuthumi speaks, Michael's right there.
Wow. Very good. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, whenever you're ready, and we will take it from there. And people just know to put a Q in the chat and in the YouTube chat. Please just say you have type out your question because Angie will be reading them for you. So please type out your question for the specific different beings. Okay, perfect. Whenever you're ready.
So they're here. Karida naharita arhasana ircha aikoha akanahasi atari atanari takataya. Greetings, my loves. I am Nada. Welcome. And today I wish to talk about unconditional love. You all already are unconditional love. You are amazing beings. Our minds, the minds of the human being, gets in the way of what unconditional love is and how to bring it forth. Try not to think about what unconditional love is. It's the opposite of judgment. It's the opposite of thinking too much. It's the opposite of trying and doing. Unconditional love is just listening. What does the other person need right now most? Not what you need to say to them, but what they need to receive. That is the unconditional love in that moment. Tapping into a stream or the idea of unconditional love, simply ask for it. And many of you are calling it in right now. And then stop thinking about what it is. Trust that it is here. And when you see other people, allow this vibration to be the filter from which you see everyone else. This information that you are receiving back from them through unconditional love can only be either unconditional love or the vibration that they need to bring them back to unconditional love. Once you see this need, or once you see that vibration, simply offer it. And if words come, words come. If words don't, your vibration is enough. And maybe simply a hug, maybe simply confirmation. I hear you, I see you, I feel you, and then a hug. Even if you don't know this person, offering a hug in that moment, don't think about it. If you feel like hugging them, just offer. And you will be surprised at the reception. This is the type of love that is needed now. Whether it is a mother, a father, a spouse, a child, a friend, or a stranger, it does not matter. Unconditional love is the force that binds this earth, this reality, this physicality, all of the dimensions of reality. It is the only thing that really exists. It's this pure love. How we bring it in and how we send it out is a part of your human experience. Are there any questions?
Let me just check to see if there's any questions. Does anyone have any questions?
We can
Okay,
continue.
Joan has a question, and she'd asked that I ask for her. She says, how do you become unconditional love if someone rejects you?
Them rejecting you is all about them. You noticing the rejection, go inside and ask yourself, why are they rejecting me? Or why am I feeling what I'm feeling about this rejection? This rejection is simply a truth of it. Are they rejecting me because I reached out too much? Because I did not show unconditional love? It's simply a reaction from them about not receiving unconditional love. So as someone who's sending it or receiving the rejection, it is, what did I do that was not unconditional love, because we only receive rejections because we did not send out unconditional love. What did we do? What is the wisdom in our actions? What is it they need? At this point, the rejection is space. That's the unconditional love that is being requested at that point. And we honor that. Because there really is no separation anyway. With everything, with every reaction, we can go within. We don't necessarily have to analyze it, but we can respect it. Because God, or unconditional love, always respects you and always respects your free will. No matter who you are, what your vibration is, God loves you unconditionally. If you're the baddest of the bad or the goodest of the good, it does not matter. God loves you. That is the hardest thing for humans to understand, that God loves the evil just as much as the righteous. God gave us all free will to hold the vibration. But how do we return to the light, to the love, to that unconditional love? That is the trick or the wisdom. Did that answer your question?
Joan, did that answer your question? So she says, so I have not given unconditional love to myself. That's why I'm receiving rejection. Is that right?
The rejection is all about the other person. Okay? You being hurt by the rejection is all about you. Give yourself unconditional love to get over the rejection. But in the future, about avoiding the rejection is listen to the situation. What is it that the other person needs? Can I give the unconditional love in that situation? Can I back off and, okay, what's the higher vibrational way of thinking? What is the higher vibrational way of acting in this situation? How can the other person's needs supersede my needs? Because many times in relationships, we act on what we need, not what the other person needs or wants. There is a balance there, because if you are in alignment and in unconditional love, you totally accept that what you need and what the other person needs is not in alignment. And so you walk away. And you're okay with that walking away. But it's the need in ourselves. It's the thought of the need in ourselves that I need this relationship to be successful, even though there is too much contrast. I think we're expanding on the question, but hopefully it answers the question.
I would like you to sort of make a clarification between unconditional love and romantic love and the expectations of the two, if you can, because maybe one is, you can love unconditionally, but that does not mean loving unconditionally means loving whether you're loved back or not. And it's
Correct.
never a promise when you love someone unconditionally that they are going to love you back, especially romantically. So maybe you would like to address that.
So this is the biggest misunderstanding among humans about romantic love and unconditional love. truly they are the same. And when people talk about true love, they are really talking about the respect that comes with the unconditional love. In relationships, we reject the other person because we are not feeling respected or we are not feeling loved in the way that we need. It is very wise of you to notice what your needs are. And only by knowing what your needs are, which is knowing yourself, and by expressing them, can we tell the universe and tell the other people, this is what we need. But if they can't supply it, then as a human, we can decide to go seek it elsewhere. But if we go within and if we truly know ourselves and if we truly love ourselves, we do not need to be fulfilled by external sources. That we learn that God is always there, our inner being is always there. This fulfillment of spiritual nourishment, which is physical nourishment as well, and emotional nourishment. All these things are already nourished by being unconditionally loving to ourselves. That loving kindness to ourselves, that compassion to ourselves. There are many words in the English language that describe it. Be easy on yourself, but be easy on the other person. It is easier to do this with a parent or a child or a sibling than it is to a romantic partner. Humans have way more expectations on what this behavior should be and less expectations on friends. There are so many labels that humans have for relationships, acquaintances. Oh, I just noticed this person. And you're okay with the bad behavior that you meet. Well, not necessarily okay, but you're okay with the person that you run into in the grocery store. You're not going to hold on to it forever because this person was misbehaving. You're going to let it go and you're going to go on to other things in your life. But the people who are more frequently in your life, like those romantic love relationships, it is more difficult for the human to allow the other person to be who they are, which is why this true love is very, very elusive. But it all starts with you, by you knowing yourself and loving yourself and recognizing that when you think you need something from someone else, you simply need to supply it from yourself. And then you can appreciate whatever the other person is offering you. And when you are truly appreciating what the other person is offering you, you are in that relationship because you choose to be so, not because they are supplying something that is missing from you, and not because there is a piece of paper that is, in theory, binding you together. You are choosing to be with them. You choose to be with your friends. You choose to be with the people you like. Can you do it without judgment? Can you do it with appreciation? Can you do it with joy? Does that answer your question?
I think so. I really wanted the qualifier just for everyone, because I know that's a common question. And Joan says yes, that answers her question. So she just made the comment, what manifests within is also manifesting outside, and loving the self-conditioned will also manifest outside you.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Perfect.
A
Okay.
very short way of saying it. Yes.
Yes. Okay. We do have a question from Susan. Go ahead, Susan.
Hello, Lady Nada.
Hello.
Wonderful to connect with you again.
Welcome.
I was wondering if, as an Ascended Master, if you could speak to what you experienced during your ascension process and how that, I guess, compares or differs to what we are experiencing now or those on the ascension path while we're in embodiment and we're being upgraded to a more crystalline light body form while being embodied, and if that was different than what you experienced.
Yes. Yes. So please remember that Ascended Master is simply just a term, okay? And it is a term that humans have applied to one who has gone through an ascension process, which is simply a mindset process. I ascended, if you will, through unconditional love. There are many paths to get to your wisdom of seeing how the energy plays, seeing how everyone else plays together. There is no right way and no wrong way. You are either moving towards ascension, which for the human is towards your heart center, or to move away from ascension, which is any of the lower vibrations or any of the blockers of the chakras or any thought pattern that is not basically unconditional love or truth. There are many ways to talk about it. Are you allowing it to be what it is? Or are you wanting it to be something else? Or are you trying to make it into something else? The truth of the matter is that you and everyone else are already an ascended being. This is why you came here on planet Earth, to experience this duality, to experience the contrast, to experience everything in the most fullest way, in the most annoying way, in the hardest way. This is the master class of the master class of consciousness. You came here because you wanted to remember that you are the light, that you are an aspect of God. How you get this remembrance is your path. Everyone else here is here to remind you as well, and they are all having their own experience. If you can see the other people in your awareness, if you can see them as masters or tinkerers or playmates, you're on the playground in kindergarten. Just because somebody else chooses to go on the jungle gym and you want to go on the swing, why do you care that they want to go on the jungle gym? And if somebody wants to go on the jungle gym and keep falling on their head, why do you care? This is the experience that they are choosing. The contrast of falling on their head and the experience of continual headaches afterwards. One day they'll learn, but this is the experience that they are choosing to have. But if they come to you for advice, how do I get rid of these headaches? The obvious is stop falling and landing on your head. And then you have a conversation then about that. I don't know why that came in, but that is the analogy that came in. Does that make sense?
Yes, that was a beautiful way to phrase it. Exactly. So thank you for that. And I was also wondering if you could speak to our, I guess, co-creation of the new Earth or the higher vibrational instance of Earth, and how the nature beings are also ascending with us, or what their ascension process is like as we're ascending, and if when we ascend to like fourth and eventually fifth or higher dimensional planes, if we're connecting to their higher aspects in those, I guess, higher dimensions as they're ascending as well at their own having their own experiences.
That's a many-part question.
Yes.
And let me try to answer it. So the first thing I'd like to say is this fourth density and the fifth density and higher, they're simply numbers. Do not get caught up in the numbers. Do not get caught up in the concepts of them. Focus on you, okay? And there are only two things I wish that everyone were to focus upon: how you interact with yourself and how you interact with everyone else. Do you interact with yourself with unconditional love? Stop judging yourself. Go within, learn to honor yourself where you are, however you are, because you are perfect wherever you are. You are playing with the energy. There's no right way or wrong way to play with your blocks. So be easy on yourself. Love yourself. When you learn to love yourself and you learn that you are not lacking in anything, then the way you interact with everyone else can be easy as well. Try to remember the easy way versus the hard way, okay? The hard way is simply a reminder that there is an easy way. And your inner being knows what that easy way is. Listen to it and then do it. That is the wisdom and that is the action. Simply do it when you realize what the ease is. So you can take, to continue the earlier, there are many paths to ascension, whether it's wisdom, whether it's action, whether it's balance, whether it's joy, or any other word. They all come to the acceptance of the perfection, the acceptance of how it already is. And then when you interact with others, they are just another version of you who is playing. Can you play with them? As a kindergartner, are you going to run over to the jungle gym and grab the other person by the hand and say, you need to come and swing with me? You can go over and invite them, but if you make them, are they really going to enjoy it? But if they choose to come with you and swing with you, yes, that is the invitation. That's the loving, childlike invitation of unconditional love. Come swing with me. But if you realize that they have more need than you do because you are already fulfilled inside, and they say, why don't you play on the jungle gym with me? See how much fun it is to fall off and land on your head. Say, well, I prefer not to land on my head, but I can fall off and I can land on my feet because that's how I prefer to do it. But yes, we can fall on the floor and ground and roll and laugh because this is the experience that you're choosing to have, but this is also the experience that I am choosing to share in with you. Does that make sense?
Yes, that was beautifully said. Thank you. Much love to you
Much love.
for your wisdom.
Are there other questions?
Yes, there is. There's a question from Bridget. Go ahead, Bridget.
Well, I was wondering, lately there is a sentence or maybe a mantra that always comes up, and that is, well, when I see something that I don't like cleaning up my yard, then there comes this inspiration, mantra, whatever, and it says, well, if you would like to be it otherwise, you would have done it, wouldn't you? And at that time, I have to smile, and then I get soft to myself. Yes, sure, I would have done otherwise if I really would have wanted it. I didn't want it, and is that so bad? no, I'm enjoying this moment. And as I'm driving or hanging up the washing, this I have a button or something like it, and I can turn it. And when I turn that button, well, it's symbolically, of course, there is so much love that I feel for everything and anything, and the world gets so glowy. So I don't really have a question, but I would like to talk about it with you. Thank you.
Very beautifully said. And when that wisdom, to me, that is the definition of wisdom, is that when one realizes that a previous decision, that we could judge it as that was the wrong decision in that moment, but the wisdom is that it's okay that it happened because it was perfect just the way it happened. And that is the wisdom in it, because everything is always perfect in every moment. And the wisdom is simply realizing it. And you realizing the gentleness on yourself of that is the unconditional love. It's the path of ease. It is the path of love and the path of wisdom. You utilize many paths to ascension in that. And any time that you receive that wisdom and you start glowing, you are ascending. This is a continuation then of Wendy's question. You are ascending, and this is the process. And this is you feeling good. When you are glowing, how do you feel?
I feel very good, and I feel very good now. And when I know the truth is spoken, my tears start to fall, and I call them my holy tears. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. And your tears are release.
Yes.
Tears are confirmation that you are back in alignment with who you really are. And the tears, the wisdom in the tears, when they become tears of joy from tears of sadness, that is the wisdom happening. And that is the confirmation from you that you are back on the path of ease and the path of joy. And you are. And you are perfect.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I would like to continue Susan's question earlier
Sure.
about
Go ahead.
the elementals and the other earth beings. They are each on their own path, and they are each ascending in their own process. They are consciousness just like you, and they came here on earth just like you for the same purpose. So you can see them just as another person. They are a sentient being, and they are doing the same process. They, because they incarnated as a tree or a rock or a pile of dirt or water, whatever they are, they chose a different path. They chose the path of earth. They chose the path of water. They chose the path of air. They chose the path of fire. Or the ones who are purely in spirit, they chose the path of ether. And you chose the path of physicality, of all of those elements and contrast. So it just depends on how they chose to come through and how they choose to seek the wisdom of the perfection that they already are. Perfect. That's the very general way. Does that answer your question, Susan?
Yes, that was another wonderful answer. So thank you for clarifying.
Are there other questions? Because there are other beings here as well.
Well, I don't know that there's any other questions for you, Lady Naga. I want to call you Naga, but Nada. Sorry for that. And I see a comment from Wendy, but I don't know if that meant she had a question or not. Wendy, did you have a question? If you don't, we'll go on, but did you? No, she did not. Okay. So Angie, do you have any questions in the chat?
I don't really have any questions. There's just some chat, but no real questions.
Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Well, let me leave
Much
you
love
with
to you.
some unconditional love. We are always here. I am always here for you. The archangels are always here for you. Your angels are always here for you. Your inner being is always here for you, reminding you of the wisdom, reminding you of the truth, reminding you of the love, reminding you of your will and God's will and the will of your inner being. So nurture yourself and allow yourself to be who you are right now. Thank you. Much love. Greetings. I am Kuthumi.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Good to meet you.
Welcome to you all. Love to you all. And the wisdom of that love to you all. Today, and as always, I would like to talk about wisdom, the wisdom of now, the wisdom of this moment, the wisdom of who you are, the wisdom and the power of your thought, the power of your observation of what is. It is what it is the very valid Earth English statement. And the wisdom is to see it as it is and not as you would like it to be. When it is your turn to tell the universe how you want it to be, then tell it how you want it to be. But when it arrives, don't try to change it. Don't try to change the other people. Don't try to change your car from a Toyota to a Cadillac. Your skills on planet Earth, the vibration of planet Earth and manifestation and creation and magic are not there yet. So don't worry about it and don't try to it. Instead, try to manifest or co-create that Cadillac, if that's what you wish. Seeing it as it is the hardest thing for a human. But as Master Nada talked about, go within. Everything has to do with you knowing yourself first. Because if you know yourself and if you are in harmony with yourself, you're easy on yourself, you accept yourself, you're okay with your strengths and your weaknesses. Becoming okay with who you are is the first step in wisdom. Understanding who you are is the first step. Allowing yourself to be who you are and to be okay with who you are and what you just did. We are not going to talk about the idea of sin. We're not going to talk about the idea of atoning for sin. We're not going to talk about karma and how that impacts your auric field and the need to make up for the karma that is not in alignment. Those are ideas that span over time. I would like all of us to focus on right now. When we truly focus on now, no karma is created and no karma can be created because we are continually in the now. We are now. We are now and we are creating the next now. By going within and meditating, we stay in the now, in this now. We elongate this moment. We stop creating time in this moment. Most humans only slow the creation of time, which is okay. It is where you are. And some humans cannot meditate. They claim they cannot meditate. And it is okay. It is where you are and it is where you think you are. There's a difference between where you think you are and where you actually are. The truth is you are already sitting in perfection. And it's only our minds that cause us to see it differently. It is our minds that are creating this reality, but you are creating it because you are a master and you are creating it as you think you prefer. But by going inside and knowing yourself, you then can decide, what does my inner being truly wish to create and truly wish to experience? This wisdom of knowing what you truly wish to create is then the conversation we have with the universe. And that's when your creations and manifestations will unfold quickly and naturally, and you will be amazed at how fast it is. An ascended master or a creator being simply know this as fact and simply do it. It is the human aspect of sometimes it's easy and sometimes it takes longer for manifestations to come. And the amazement of when it comes easy, that is just part of your inner joy saying, hey, I did it right. And you patting yourself on the back. You're giving yourself the reinforcement. You are rebuilding and reinforcing your belief system of success, that you are doing it correctly. This wisdom is you deciding to continue the thoughts and the vibrations of your success, of what is working and what is not working. When something is not working, it's simply the wisdom inside that hasn't come out yet. That there is wisdom inside of how to make it work. And that is why you are here, to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and then return to your master self of, I know how to make it work all the time. I know how to make it work. The wisdom of the understanding of the situation and the wisdom of the action. I will take action. I will tell the universe this way. I will have my vibration of my inner being be this, so that when I do what I say I'm going to do, that it is in alignment with what my thoughts are. That is a difficult concept for many to understand. And it is too many words when one is simply in the heart center and simply just acting from unconditional love and joy. That is the overthinking part, but that is hopefully helpful to get us back into alignment, back into our heart center, And thinking and living from the heart is ascending to the fourth density. It is ascending to the heart space, is getting over the I want it and I demand it, or the I need this from the outside world, or I feel afraid of all these other things that are happening. And getting into, I know I am fully supported. I know I am loved. I know that they are giving whatever love they can, but I am supplying it myself, and the universe is supplying it unconditionally and overflowingly, always. And by tapping into that and knowing that and feeling that, it is impossible not to feel and express joy, both to ourselves and to others. This feeling is again the confirmation that you are building your belief system correctly, or as you prefer, because the term correctly is more judgmental. It's all about your preferences and what you chose to experience in this incarnation. And reinforcing the belief system of doing things as you prefer, the wisdom of recognizing it as you prefer it, and recognizing it as the truth of what it is. I created this. How did it come back? Okay, what adjustments do I need to make to have it come back as I prefer? And then tell the universe, these are the adjustments I want to make. These are my preferences. Are there any
Beautiful.
questions?
Yes, there is. Wendy has a question for you. Go ahead, Wendy.
Yes, hello. How are you today?
Marvelous. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. I feel very happy and joyful today. I have a question related to a couple of images that have popped up into my third eye, one during meditation and one while I was just walking. One was just as I was going into my meditation and closing my eyes, I saw a silver chalice coming to my mouth. And so I looked at it and it seemed to be water, but I'm wondering what was encompassed within that chalice.
This chalice. These are images that you resonate with. This chalice of overflowing abundance, this emotional fulfillment, the fulfillment of the mind, the fulfillment of the truth. The fact that it came to your mouth, did you drink from it?
I did.
Okay. Drinking from it is your inner being accepting that from the universe, that you were drinking it, that you were taking this divine sustenance, that you were willing to receive the wisdom, the truth, that this abundance is always there for you, that it is always overflowing for you. There is no need for more because you already have too much. Does
Wow.
that make sense?
Yes.
So let it flow from you. Okay? Keep drinking it, let it spill all over you. This nectar from the gods, this ambrosia, this is the energy of the universe. This is the true energy of the universe. This is the holy fire, as you will. This is the flow of all of that energy.
I see. And then last night, as I was walking from one room to another, there was a column of light in the other room, and I walked through it, and I was like, "Oh, I think I received something," but I don't know. I'm sure other people are having these types of experiences. So if you could help me understand that image, is that a 4D or a 5D when I see things like that?
Those columns of light are always multidimensional, and you can view it as either you invited it in or you created it. If you see yourself as a creator, you created it.
Yes.
Because you felt that you needed it or wanted to experience it. And it does not matter whether you created it or whether you invited it in, because it's always there anyway. You have shifted your awareness to it, and then it appeared. And then you walked in it, and you received wisdom from it, because you intended to receive the wisdom from it, or you invited it in. They're all, we're splitting
That makes
hairs.
sense.
We're mincing words.
Yes,
But
it makes sense what you're saying.
Yes.
Hmm.
So all of these experiences that you have, they're both an invitation and a creation of you. And depends on where you are as an individual in your own individual ascension process, that how you see it. At the early stages of ascension, we invite things in, and we receive them when we're open to it. Maybe at night before going to bed, tell the universe what you wish to experience, or ask a question. And then when you wake up, and tell the universe when you wake up that you will have the answer, or that you will have the experience. As a human being, there is less resistance to the purity of the information of everything that's around you when you first wake up. And so many of you will experience this new wisdom, the truth of it, the answer of the question, first thing in the morning. Just accept it. Don't overthink it. But if you are a puzzle person, maybe you only gave yourself a puzzle, or the universe gave you a puzzle. And then you get to research the puzzle. But this is what you like, and this is what you chose to create. If you don't wish to create the puzzles, ask for the true wisdom. Does that make sense?
Beautifully said. Yes, thank you very much. And actually, I think this last year I have noticed that first thing in the morning, that is where all the wisdom is coming in. So thank you for that clarification and insight. Blessings.
Blessings. And meditation first thing in the morning gives the most clarity. It is easier to drop into your pure state first thing in the morning as a human being. But then with more and more practice of meditation, it will be easier at any time of the day. And being easy on yourself is the easiest way to get into that meditative state. Allow those thoughts to come in. And if you're one of those people who say that they cannot meditate to save their life, sitting there and simply breathing and focusing on the breath is good enough. Focusing on the breath, because you are training yourself, you are practicing the art of focus, in allowing your focus to be what it is. You're practicing the art of ease. Go ahead.
Beautiful. Oh, I was just going to say, no, I'm that person that meditates once, or sometimes if I get a chance, twice a day. So, but I do hear that from many others, that they struggle to get into meditation. So I always offer that they can do a walking meditation, and with focusing on breath too. So thank you so much. Beautiful.
Absolutely. That was one of the first things that you mentioned, that one of the visions came in while you were walking. Walking, or when visions come in, is simply a state of allowing. Meditation is a state of allowing. It's a state of being. And when the visions come in, when you're in a state of least resistance, in a state of allowing, visions can come in. That is all that channeling really is that the channeler gets in a state of allowing and allows the words, the wisdom, the being to come through, and simply gets out of the way of the mouth, and they channel. And some people channel with their hands, and only their hands, and some people only channel the light language. Some people only channel energy. It is all okay. You are allowing it to happen. Are there other questions?
Yes, there is. A very good question from the Maveth, and also I think there's probably some questions in the YouTube chat, but let's answer this one first. The Maveth asks, some humans are creator beings with the greatest soul missions. Can you give examples of this throughout history?
Yes. And before I answer that question, because that seemed like what this channel would call a loaded question. Creator being is simply a label, and humans who understand that they are a creator being is simply a soul mission on an incarnation, is that they agreed to come in and to realize that they are a creator being and to create like they are a creator being. There's a lot of judgment around creator being. There's a lot of elevation that a creator being is higher than somebody who's choosing to come in and be what we say, a beggar. And maybe a beggar is a creator being. In all aspects, the simplest truth is that everyone is a creator being. You all came here with the same rules. You all came here with the same ideas, with the same laws of the universe. You all incarnated, and you all incarnated to play on the playground. So if you holding higher value to a creator being versus anyone else says something about you. This idea of a creator being possibly is a goal for you or is a path of ascension for you. It is a way to focus for you. How do I create like a creator being? How do I, and a creator being simply creates their reality, rearranges, they decorate their house. That's all a creator being is doing. They decorate their house as they wish. They do it really quickly. That's it. Just imagine everything is energy and you're calling in the arrangement of energy as you prefer. I wish to experience all of this energy that is around me this way. It is done. It's all just energy. How does each of the, if you want to analyze it, each of the subatomic particles in this idea of physicality need to be rearranged in certain ways, need to be rearranged in certain ways of various physicality of elements, and then those elements need to be rearranged as bigger and greater combinations, which we call things like a box or a house. It's simply energy. It is simply energy. That is the highest level of truth. And being able to do that is the mindset of a creator being. And the label of ascended master is just someone who utilizes the higher thought forms of creation without resistance, or seeing the energy as it is. And you can have an ascended thought form and still be in the 3D, and you can have an ascended thought form and being in the 4D, and have an ascended thought form being in the 5D. But you're in that density because you're choosing to experience that aspect of the duality, of the physicality, of the density, of the possibility of arrangements of the energy. The higher densities, there is less density. It is easier to rearrange the particles of energy. I know we're digressing from the original question, but as a creator being, you understand all the possibilities. You can jump up to the highest levels of density where you can rearrange everything and then you bring it back into form, and then you go back to whatever physicality it is that you wish to experience it. These dimensions are not far apart. There's really no separation in these dimensions. Now, as examples of other creator beings that have happened in the history of planet Earth, most of the creator beings who came here are not documented in the annals of history. They're not documented in the written word of history. One needs to go within to see them. And it is harder to see the creator beings. It is simply a label. Are we going to label it as this person came in as a creator being, or this person came in as an ascended master, or this person came in as a guru, or this person came in as a divine healer? They're all aspects of the consciousness they chose to follow, to explore, to pursue. Great healers are simply ones who understand the rearrangement of the energy while respecting the other person, and who are offering the vibration that the other person is willing to accept. And the most great healers found a way to see at the innermost level of the other being and offer that vibration to that person. Yes, our friend Yeshua was one of those who saw the true inner being of the other person, who saw that there is no end to this cycle of life, and that the spirit can come back, that any aspect of the physicality can be brought, that the return to instantaneous true health can happen with the right vibration, with the right acceptance from the other person. All of these things are possible. There were great creator beings that have been involved. The ones who created the pyramids over eons and eons. The creator beings came to Atlantis and built many, many of the major structures in Atlantis. And in Lemuria, everyone technically at the early stages of Lemuria were creator beings and ascended masters. They came because they were that, and they were designing the rest of this physicality. How do we experience the fullest level of expansion and then return back to God, source, to this light, this understanding of who we are, and that we can do anything? I don't think that exactly answered your question, but as this channel would have said, it was a loaded question. Are there other questions?
Yes, there is. Radha has I want to, before we, 1 second, before we go to the, I want to take the one question that's in the chat, in the YouTube chat. Angie, do you have the question?
I do.
Okay.
Haymet Wally said, what is wisdom? Actually, how is it different from inner knowingness? What is wisdom, and how is it different from inner knowingness?
Okay. Good question. Very, very good question. At the core of the matter, there is no such thing as wisdom. At the core of the matter, there is only existence. As consciousness moved away from the isness of existence, then every other aspect of consciousness came into play. Wisdom is simply one of those. Wisdom is simply the ability to see it as it is and see yourself as you are. Seeing the truth in it, whatever it is. It could be you, it could be the other person, it could be anything. And allowing it to be what it is. That is the simplest way for me to say it. But the trick as a human being, the wisdom of being a human being, is to allow that wisdom to come through. Allow yourself to be okay with where you are and not see the wisdom. By elevating the idea of wisdom, you are just furthering the separation from it. You are giving it a higher value than where you are right now. There is no wrong place. There is no wrong thought. There is no wrong anything. You are. You are what you are. You are it. There's no it to grasp. There's no it to bring in. You are complete. You are fulfilled. Understanding that and acting from that standpoint is wisdom. Understanding that and loving yourself unconditionally is the wisdom. Loving yourself unconditionally wherever you are is the wisdom. Loving anyone else and everyone else where they are is the wisdom. Allowing it to be it is wisdom. Everything else is not. Does that answer your question?
That was a
Uh,
YouTube, yeah, that was a
yeah.
YouTube question. So let me see if he was, we humans, he says, we humans love it complicated.
Yes, but you're doing it from an ascended master point of view. You're doing it because you want it complicated, because it was too easy the last time you incarnated. Okay? So you're choosing to make it complicated. If you have seen the wisdom in the complication, then maybe you'll start choosing the path of ease. But be okay with making it complicated. You're successful. This is what you wanted to create. You did it. Congrats.
Thank you very much. That was his question.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Angie. Okay, let me see. Radha has a question. Did you want to ask the question, Radha, or do you want to me to?
Yes, I can go ahead and ask.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Hello, Lord Kuthumi. It's wonderful to connect with you again.
Welcome. Welcome. It is good to be here.
I'm looking forward to our working more closely together. I understand that we'll be going down that path shortly. I wanted to follow along on the question related to creation. Could you explain to us whether or not we can change our soul path once we have incarnated? Because my understanding is there are certain themes before we incarnate that we want to experience. And is that our true destiny, or is that something that can be modified?
Yes. I think I understand the question. Yes, you can modify it. But the question is, do you really want to modify it? Okay. So when you were experiencing a higher point of consciousness, as some would call it, when you were in heaven and you decided to incarnate, and when you created this soul path, this soul contract for yourself, you did so lovingly, and you did so with the rest of the universe. You did it on purpose. You did it in full knowing of the wisdom of the path you wished to experience. So wanting to alter it, well, you can. And it is very simple, because you are creating your reality, and you are creating the next now, and you are creating your path forward. But with the wisdom of it is what it is, you created it, and you created it for a reason. Once you get to the point of acceptance of that soul path, now, did you determine this soul path on your own, or did someone else tell you what the soul path is? And the easiest confirmation, no matter who told you what it was, does it bring you joy? Does this idea of this soul path bring you joy? If yes, then yes, you want to do it, and you still want to do it. Can you change it? Yes. What is the better soul path for you? What is the better soul contract for you? And when I say better, I don't mean better. I mean, what is the more fulfilling? What is the more joy-filled soul path, mission, purpose, aiming point? Because every time that you create this next now, you are doing so with an intention, and you are doing so with a point of aim. There's no wrong point of aiming. There's no wrong intention. And when someone tries to tell you you are creating outside of your soul path, you are not following your soul path, you are the only one who knows truly what your soul path is, and whether you're creating inside of it or outside of it or aiming along it. If it brings you joy, continue it. If being on your soul path brings you joy, do it. If you need to take a break, is one way to say it. Self-soothing, doing something that brings out your joy. Sometimes human beings need to bring in joy from external sources, because mastering that joy from within is a difficult thing to do. So bringing in the joy and the ease and the enlightenment, because anytime we get back to joy and laugh and whatever, it enlightens our spirit. That is ascension. There are so many words, but you're getting back to your inner being. And then if you feel that this idea of a soul path, and you have this, have it all written out as to what is supposed to happen, this need to fulfill it when it's not bringing you joy, maybe that's the wisdom of the soul contract that you wished to experience. I don't wanna. Okay, then don't. What do you need in this now? What do you need right now? What is going to bring out your joy right now? How does that, and if you don't resonate with that path, that direction that you started out with, you don't have to. You probably want to, but this path of who you are, getting to acceptance of it is what it is, and you are who you are, and you are where you are, is the wisdom of the situation. And being accepting and allowing of what comes to you, and then what you create with that, is the wisdom of the unconditional love, of acceptance, of ease, of joy. And taking action from that is really your soul purpose. Expressing that love, that joy from your heart on whatever technical topic it is. Maybe your soul path is healing. Maybe your soul path is knowledge. Maybe your soul path is compassionate action. Maybe your soul path is teaching. Does not matter what it is. Maybe your soul path is simply to receive from all the teachers, from all the healers, from all the doers of good deeds, from all the bringers of joy. Maybe your job is simply to reinforce in those other humans that they are doing a good job of teaching. that they are doing a good job of healing, that they are doing a good job of compassionate action, that they are doing a good job of causing joy in others. Does that answer your question? I think we talked a lot.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I just want to make sure I have this. Oh, Joan would like, oh, actually, let me see. Bridget has a question first. Go ahead, Bridget. And we'll come
Yes,
back to you.
hello. Could you please shed some light on the fact that every now and then on this earth, big disasters are happening, like earthquakes or flooding or fires, and that really huge amount of people are leaving this earth plane. How can I look at that? Can you help, please?
I can try. Thank you for the question. It is a very interesting question because there are many ways to look at it. Gaia, this earth, Gaia is a spirit in the physicality of this earth. And she had an intention when she came here. All of consciousness had an intention when creating this reality. And we all who are coming into this subset, this section of reality, this corner of the universe, came here knowing the rules. These rules are the physicality of the four elements and the atmosphere on this planet and the movement of the tectonic plates. And all these things cause changes. They are different forms of changes. It's all it is. And it's forms of changes that are happening on this planet that you all chose to incarnate to. Now, at this moment, when these things are more prevalent. And they affect the buildings, and they affect what we want to hold on to as human beings. The cities that we live in. The water wants to flood when the water wants to flood. The tectonic plates want to move when the tectonic plates want to move. With an elevated, very elevated consciousness, and with an elevated consciousness of the collective, including Gaia, we can create an Earth that does not have any of these, what are called natural disasters. But that is not why you are here. They're not the rules of the game that you chose to create. There are many other worlds out there, many other corners of the universe, as you might call it, that have planets that do not have natural disasters, that have planets that do not have these. Yes, they are in the higher dimensions. But you chose to come here in the third dimension, the third density. You chose to play here. So these things are a part of your reality. Can you accept it? Can you allow it? Can you act from the heart when they happen? Maybe you're not called to help in the cleanup. If it happens in your city, you're probably going to have to. What are you going to do? Do you see it as a problem? Or do you see it as just part of your reality? And maybe you're a scientist. And so you come up with ways. The Dutch came up with a way to place dikes so that the flooding would be held back. engineers have created dams to control the flow of water, to better control the flow of water. The Romans created aqueducts to help flow the water from one place where it is abundant to another place where it is not. Early humans created irrigation, where they brought the water from the abundant source into the fields so that the proper amount of water could irrigate their fields. These are things that humans can do within the rules. What are these things that you would like to improve? There is already weather control on this planet at this time, and humans have been experimenting with weather control for the longest time. Sooner or later, humans will, they have done so in the past, where they have controlled the movements of the tectonic plates, where they've influenced. No one has actually mastered the movement of the tectonic plates on Earth, but influence. Just like controlling weather, it is influencing the weather. The earliest were seeding the clouds with certain chemicals to cause rain. And shamans who do work to cause rain to happen are doing so at an energetic level, to bring in the rain, to cause the clouds to come together and to form the rain. That is all they are doing. You can do the same thing with these natural disasters, with the tsunamis, with flooding, with earthquakes, with tornadoes, with hurricanes. You can do them all. Whether you simply believe you can cause the tornado to alter its path and not hit your house, or to calm the wave of the tsunami so that that energy dissipates throughout the entire ocean and does not hit land. These are all things that you as an individual can do. And when you enact the law of one, when you tap into the rest of the collective consciousness, including Gaia, including all of the sentient beings on Gaia, that collectively you are bringing in the common vibrations of that and therefore amplifying it. Continue the work. Do not judge the success of the work. Allow the success to be what it is and accept that the collective consciousness is behind all of this co-creation. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I've reached kind of anywhere near what you were saying too, but well, now we have this earthquake in Turkey with 10,000 dead, and to me it feels okay. This is what happens, and then another part of me is scolding me and saying, yes, but this is terrible that so many people have died. So I'm switching between those 2 points of views.
Yes.
One part of me feels it is okay, and the other part is not happy about it.
Yes.
Yes.
That is very wise of you to observe that. And many people, and I can bet, or I can guarantee, excuse me a moment. I can guarantee that depending on who you're speaking those ideas to, that if you express an idea of, I'm okay with the earthquake in Turkey, to someone who is experiencing the horrors of the earthquake in Turkey, they will judge what you say as wrong and get upset. And you choosing both of those vibrations and going back and forth and not necessarily being easy with yourself on both of those ideas and both of those vibrations are an invitation from you to get into harmony and get into acceptance. This And it's okay to have both ideas, because it is both a tragedy and a consequence of the rules. And when we want to be emotional, we want to tap into the emotional energy of what that earthquake has caused. And you can look at it at the negative aspect of, let us see the damage that it caused and an emotional damage that it caused, or we can look at it from, look at all the people who are applying unconditional love, all the people who are helping, all the people who are digging, all the people who are rebuilding. There is no wrong way to look at it, because it happened. It is what it is. But what lifts the spirit of the humans is that when the people respond and respond in a what's called a positive manner, that they're raising the vibration, that they're cleaning up, that they're offering support to Turkey and Syria and all the people that are there, those are the vibrations of ascension. Those are the vibrations of unconditional love. Those are the vibrations of helping. And knowing who you're talking to, unless you are choosing to cause dissonance in the other person, there are people who are agitators and who will go, oh, this person is really upset about the earthquake in Turkey, so I'm going to talk about it, how it doesn't mean anything to me, just so I can see them get upset. While the other person's also co-creating that, is the harsh reality of it. But the wisdom of, am I doing this because there's something lacking in me? Because I need to see the other person get a reaction, because I can't get a reaction anywhere. All of those things are a part of the human condition. And the person who's causing the agitation, it's simply an invitation from their inner being to come back in and see the truth of the situation, to see the truth of the conversation, and to offer the unconditional love. And as the receiver of that agitation, it is simply an invitation from their inner being to not get upset over it, and to see that the other person has an interesting and what I would like to judge as wrong point of view from an individual standpoint. That's just interesting, but wrong, but interesting. If we say that it's interesting, we attach less to that idea, and then we don't take it personally. When we take it personally, there is a lack in ourselves. I know we're digressing from the earthquake and the emotional impact, but there are people who are helping and there are people who are not helping. And the truth is, it happened, and they will continue to happen until the collective consciousness agrees to not create them anymore. And the question that I pose to you is, what are you willing to do now? Can you accept it now? And then can you act from your heart now? Whatever it is, whomever your audience is, whether you choose to engage energetically with the planet to offer what is needed now, or whether you're engaging in certain individuals right around you, who's sitting next to you, who you're talking with. Can you engage in this now, wholly? Does that answer your question?
Yes, and with what you helped me most is that both polarities, like, well, the tectonic plates move. It's the nature of the plates to move. They moved and they had consequences. And the other polarity, oh, this is awful for so many. Well, this is probably awful for so many people who lost their lives, because I cannot know nor judge if it is awful for them or not. It is. My question is only about my inner world, not about talking to others, because I don't think I would be unkind to anyone showing me their grief and telling them it was just the soul's path to choose to be there at that moment. That would be very unconsiderate, unkind, and unloving. But it is that I'm feeling this, it is okay within myself, this polarity. And well, it is a strange moment in time where I'm experiencing polarities, but yet I want to choose, but yet I feel there's no need to choose. They are just what they are, polarities. And I'm not in a position to do anything about it. That acceptance is the word.
It is very wise of you to notice all of that. The knowing yourself and accepting yourself is what you are experiencing right now. And noticing the polarities of the two ideas and that you feel them both and the acceptance of that is the wisdom. Harmony within is the first step. Because when you interact with yourself, when you experience yourself in harmony, everything is okay. And when you experience everything without in harmony, it is okay. And getting to harmony is alignment, is ascension. Or the ascension to the higher thought forms is much easier when one is in alignment, when one is on the path of joy, when the one is on the path of ease, and when one is in the path of harmony. That's all harmony means. I'm in balance. I'm centered. I'm okay. So thank you for that wisdom.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Are there other questions?
Yes, Joan has a question. She says, if we are an ascended master, why are we still here on earth? It's referencing that you said everyone, I guess, is ascended masters. Why are we still on earth incarnated in third dimension? And why am I still working on myself to ascend this life? I've been told that once you ascend, meaning you don't have to come back on earth to incarnate, but simply living in fourth dimension like Mount Shasta civilization. Please expand or explain what is ascended and ascension.
Yes, excellent question. And both Master Naga and myself have talked around it. As I understand your question, you made many assumptions about what ascension is, and then you have attached value to what ascension is. There's no wrong or no right to it. That when you ascend, you will be in the fourth density. Okay. That is an okay assumption. But coming from that assumption, what is the wisdom? How can we get there? But I also hear judgment in that assumption that since I'm not there, I must not be ascended, and I still have a goal. Are you judging yourself from where you are? It is okay to have a goal or a point of aim. But when we judge ourselves from where we are on our path to our goal, we push the goal away further. We make it harder for ourselves to achieve that goal. One way of looking at it is, yes, that we are all ascended masters. We all are a part of this consciousness. And there are teachers and channelers who classify, who build a hierarchy of creator beings, ascended masters, angels, archangels, and various things, devils, who simply have a different idea of where they came from and what their abilities are. That is it. Everybody, one way to say it is, everyone comes from the consciousness outside of the matrix, and everyone has a incarnation point in the matrix. And some people have this idea of, my first incarnation was as a creator being. We're going deep into it. But I don't want to go there. It's not really answering the question, because the question is from the physicality of the 3D and ascending. So ascending can only happen from where you are. And ascending simply is allowing yourself to think differently in a higher thought form, because your thoughts create your words and create your actions. So how do we think differently? Our thoughts are created by our belief systems, or they're caused or inspired by our core vibration is the easier way to say it. You continue to create the next now in this third density because you're choosing to do so. You can ascend at any moment, and you can jump, is one way of looking at it, jump into the fourth density as an ascended being. You will do so when you choose to do so. And your experience will be different. And that is a higher thought form. That is knowing it'll happen when I choose to make it happen. That's also the wisdom or the acceptance of it. That it will happen when my inner being wants it to happen. I will no longer be on this earth plane, and I will be in the fourth density, and I will be interacting with other people in the fourth dimension. And you can continue this physicality while doing that as well. It is simply a higher thought form. It is simply an attraction point. It is simply seeing the energy that's all around you differently. That's it. At its simplest, most way to say it is, there's always positive and negative energy around you. And do you see this? Do you see the cup as half full, or do you see the cup as half empty? Do you see more positivity around you? That's because that is your attraction point. Are we answering your question, or are we confusing the situation?
This was in the, how do you say it, in the chat from Joan, so she would have to type her answer. But the answer is beautiful as far as I'm concerned. I feel, but I can't speak for Joan. So, but I will say she was asking about, is it possible, I guess, if she was an ascended master coming in, you said she chose it. She's wondering why she just didn't stay ascended master, and why does she have to go through all this life stuff? Pretty much, I guess, is her question. What was
She's choosing it.
Yeah.
She's choosing it. And because we all choose to experience what we're experiencing. We don't understand the power of our thought and our creation, even in this third density. We don't understand it. The ascended point of view is understanding it. The wisdom of it is understanding it. But the judgment keeps coming in because we're placing a higher value on an ascended thought from whatever you're thinking right now. Whatever you're thinking right now is an ascended thought form. That's the truth of it. That's the reality of it. You're choosing to experience the contrast. You're choosing to experience that ascension is over there. You're choosing it. But the wisdom is that that ascension over there is really right here. And I can think it and I can be it now. And when we bring it in, okay, it's there and it's here. Cool. I see that. Choosing to act from that is the decision. And allowing yourself to act from it and allowing it to come in as it comes in is the wisdom. The judgment comes in when we act in any way, but our plan is to act in this ascended thought form, and that when it comes in, it's not what we like, and we throw it away and we judge it and we say, not what my experiment didn't work. Cool. What does your inner being say? How can I be okay with it? I just created it. Why can't I be okay with it? But this is something that we all play with as a human being, that we all wish to learn and experience. And when we become okay with what we just created, that's the true power. And once we realize how to create it differently so that we don't experience that awfulness, that's the true wisdom as well. That's an ascended thought form. That can be, when we do it with love, that's classified as a fourth dimensional thought form. When we do it from the truth of it, that's a fifth dimensional thought form. When we do it without illusion to it, when we see that everything is the same, that is a thought form that's even higher than that.
Thank you for that. I have to say we've come really to the end of our time together, but it's been a beautiful interaction with you and with Lady Nada. And thank you very much, Kuthumi, for being with us. And it would be wonderful for you to come again so that we can share in your deep, deep, beautiful wisdom, and also with Lady Nada and her beautiful unconditional love. So if you would, because we are close to out of time, would you do some blessing for us, and so that we can go on?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me say that it has been my pleasure to be here. It is my pleasure to have conversations with you and interact with your wisdoms. And I hope that you see that it is wisdom. So my blessing. Ahi katira. Tonono to uhusha ohuhi. Nawahia ati tuota. Sha ka anata kasi. Toroko karsha hanatu duwa. Shiwa e tatawa tutanushu. Saha atikachi to gorhu. No toka wahai totorotso. Ichikohuta nutu tusha. Karyututa arskaha. Niti isa tutuyu. Shishua ati takartu. U tunohurshu. Ashihiwaka. And there is no translation because your inner being knows what it means. Your inner being is vibrating with it. And you feeling the warmth of it is you patting yourself on the back that you understand it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so
And
very
much
much.
love.
Much love. Angie,
Hey.
did you want to do hey, Will, thank you so much. I wanted to make sure Angie got to do her announcements, but beautiful, beautiful channeling. Thank you very much for the beautiful and in-depth information that you shared.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Yes, thank you. And come back again. Don't be a stranger. I know you will, but sometimes we go few and far between with no Will, and then you pop back up again. So
Thank you.
it's always nice when you're here.
My pleasure.
And Angie,
Much love
do you
to
want
you
to?
all.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
and one more second. Do you do sessions and stuff with people? Do you work with people directly? And if you do, how do they get in touch with you?
I do. You can check out my website, aquarianfire.com, and you can email me at will@aquarianfire.com.
Perfect. And we'll put that also in the chat. I mean, in
Thank you.
the description. Yes, thank you. Angie.
Thank you. All right, we have completed our last class, and so we are now looking at scheduling our next online class. If you are interested in any of the classes coming up, please email classes@hucolo.org, and we will go ahead and schedule our next, the next one that has the greatest interest. We have several on the radar, which is chakra class, learning all about how the chakras interact with the white magic, with your healing, just with your everyday life, how crystals and rocks, learning more in depth about how you can, again, incorporate them in your healing in your everyday life using the energies there. And the other class that we are looking at is the consciousness level 3 class. If you are interested in any of these or any of the other classes that we have listed online, please email classes@hucolo.org and I will get information out.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, next week we will have a very special channeler. Her name's Athena Jelinek. She's been on the Kevin Moore show. She's now expanding her practice and her reach, and we're going to have her on. She'll be channeling. She channels actually her name's Robin Jelinek, and she channels Athena in Truth. And so we're excited to have her next week. So please tune in. And for everyone, thank you so much for being here. Jim will be back in 2 weeks, right? Am I correct?
Yes, 2 weeks.
Yes, he'll be back in 2 weeks. So much love to everyone, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much.